There is this quote by Sri Ramana Maharishi. He says, "Silence is bliss, silence is peace, and hence silence is the self. A realized one sends out waves of spiritual influence in his aura, which draw many people towards him." And Ramana Maharishi himself exuded this silence, this peace, stillness, which was extremely captivating. And therefore, he did not give prescriptions. What he told people was that just come and sit beside me in silence. And a lot of people experienced spontaneous awakening in that moment. You know, when you are in a presence of a person where the truth has been glimpsed, you feel a sense of peace in that person's company. And very often it happens that in the presence of such a person, your own mind quiets down. The thing is that most of us do not understand this concept of silence, what it means. Ramana Maharishi says silence is the self. Self with the capital S, which is the pure consciousness, which is the stillness. Now, when speaking about silence, we are not talking about not saying words. It's about the silence, which is our essence. And most people think that it is the mind that is to be silenced through some practice. But you see, mind can never be silent because we identify mind as the movement. It is the heart that is the place of silence. So, what happens in self realization is that the mind melts into the heart, and that space has tremendous vitality, tremendous energy. The energy of calm, peace, stillness, harmony, and oneness with nature. It is constantly communicating with you. It is the pure consciousness that is reflected as the individual consciousness. It comes from the silence. Therefore, Ramana Maharishi says in another quote that silence is never-ending speech. In silence, one is in intimate contact with the surroundings. Language is only a medium for communicating one's thoughts to another. Silence is ever speaking. And you know what happens is that when the mind becomes quiet, you open up to a space of love, of course, which is the space of heart. And in that, there is no thinking. So you're so rooted in the moment that you transcend your individuality and merge with everything that is around you. Now, while you see separation in appearances, right? We don't say that I am the tree or I am the mountain. But you do recognize that the essence behind everything is the same. That recognition, it does not come up as thinking. That recognition comes up as a sweet feeling of love, unconditional love. So when we are connected to our environment, that is the complete wholeness. Then we are totally attentive to what is, rather than ruminating or dwelling over what should or should not be. Our whole problem is that when we are identified with the mind, our concern is always of the future. I should do this, otherwise that will happen in the future. Or it goes back into the dead past. Oh, I should have done that. Why didn't I do this? If I would have done that, my life would have been different. So you see, we are carrying this load of memories, this thinking, which we constantly reinforce in our minds. Same stories over and over again. And over time, this becomes so heavy that it starts manifesting as psychological disorders or chronic pain. But when the mind melts into the heart, one experiences an expansion. Sometimes it is so overwhelming. Whenever I've experienced that expansion, I had tears in my eyes. The thing is that wholeness is made up of so much love. It is just flowing with love. But here we identified with the limited mind, with the limited body, always operating in the default defensive mode. We don't see that love. We don't experience that love. So, we are always trying to find hacks. We are trying to find shortcuts in life. So when there is a pain within, we want to just get rid of the pain. And sometimes the very act of trying to get rid of the pain increases the pain. Notice this very carefully. It is the mind trying to find a solution to a problem that probably does not exist. Because mind identified with an event in the past, based on memory, springs up a thought. A thought that creates a fear. Now, sometimes to deal with that fear, if it is too overwhelming, the mind creates a diversion. Or I would say that the body creates a diversion, the brain creates a diversion. So sometimes, in order not to feel the emotion, the troubling event, that memory, it creates pain in the body. It can either be pain or it can be a panic attack. But if one is present to it, which by the way is not an easy task, it is difficult when it is happening. But if one offers no resistance, if one is completely present with what is, then no feeling, no sensation gets carried forward in time. So eventually it drops away. And it is realized that the reality is not the feeling, the reality is not the sensation. It is the background awareness, this eternal consciousness that is ever present. That is the ultimate reality. And as one experiences more and more presence, more and more silence, the identifications with the illusions begin dissolving. It is not that we have to do anything about it. Now, this is the confusion, that most people think that we have to control the mind to be in the place of silence. That's why many people, when they sit for meditation, they try to block the thoughts. But that creates more problem, because then, thoughts come up with more force. We are not to block anything. We are just to feel everything completely. And yes, sometimes it is challenging, it is difficult. But the more you sit in silence, the more you allow yourself to feel, you get to see the illusoriness of that content. So automatically your attachment to those thoughts, feelings, sensations, those ideas, those beliefs, it begins to loosen. And then when you operate in your daily living, you're always mindful of your thoughts, of your sensations. So one experiences a peace which is a very natural state. Nothing exciting or dull or anything. There is never a need to label that state. It is the state of silence. The content may still keep happening. It may still keep arising in your consciousness. But now you know that the consciousness is temporary, illusory, and consciousness is all there is. Therefore, you stop resisting and you open more and more to this place of presence. And it grows, it multiplies, it grows. It is already infinite. We just need to access that place of love. And nothing needs to be done other than allowing the presence to arise. You just have to be. That's why Ramana Maharishi said that your job is not to be this or that. Just be. In being, you will discover your true nature. So, I can keep going on and on about silence, but it won't help. So take this time, sit quietly, just for a couple of minutes, and see how that space of love, of presence, of being, how it emerges. And when it is there, it has such a vibrant energy. It is bliss. And every other happiness, every other bliss, every other thought pales in comparison to that bliss. That is why the scriptures say that our true nature is Sat Chit Ananda, being, consciousness, bliss.